Because sometimes when you feel like the walls are just closing in and the walls are getting tight, you have to get outside of your environment. Or you can go your entire life thinking that better may not be in the projects, but better might be Section 8. Not understanding that your future says you're the landlord and not the tenant. And so even that may be in your process to be in the projects or be in the ghetto. And when I say ghetto, actually ghetto is not we don't have ghettos in America, and I'll tell you why. We don't. Ghetto is more of a mindset than a place. Because the truest definition of a ghetto, if you look at the sociological term of a ghetto, is a place, and I'm going to say something because we do have some ghettos. I'm going to throw this out here. But what we do have, it's a place where everybody is the same, thinks the same, there's no innovation, there's no creativity. They take a certain group of people and put them all in a place. So I guess hypothetically, Bishop, the possibility that some of our churches have become ghettos because everybody is thinking the same and doing the same and wanting the same, and that defines what better is. So we have a ghetto mentality in the body of Christ. And we're outdoing one another going nowhere. Look at somebody say, I ain't ghetto. Like we say in Atlanta, nah, shawty. Envision, go back to the future. What's interesting, it was Charles Swindoll who said, an eagle can see a 3-inch fish jumping in a lake 5 miles away. Eagles, like people, can envision what most would miss. Visionary people see beyond the humdrum of everyday activities into future possibilities. Are you an eagle or you're a chicken? We need to fry you. Envision, go back to the future. How else can we become better? The next one is energize. Energize. Energize our lives. We need some excitement in our life, the humdrum of the everyday experience. Your life is more than you going to work, coming to church, cooking, paying your bills. Life is more than that. Those things that's a part of the process. But like we said, we can have church in the Caribbean. Who wants to have church in the Caribbean? Who wants to have, church off the coast of the Mediterranean? You can have some good church, Bishop, when you're looking at what God has created. And so energizing your life, getting out of your mundane situation, getting outside of the boat, stepping outside of the mundane. Everybody else is the boat is overcrowded. The boat is sinking. Somebody's got to step outside of the boat and say, I don't want to be on the boat. I'm going to walk on the water. Even if I do sink, I'll always be able to say, guess what? I walked on the water. I did it. I tried. I did it. And guess what? I was closer to Jesus than you were because he was there and you were in the boat. And y'all were all doing the same thing in the boat. Y'all had the same makeup on. Y'all had the same shoes. Y'all had the same hairstyle. Everybody had the same Nicki Minaj wig, all of that. Multicolor, everybody's doing the same thing. Energize your life. Do something different. Be different. And when you become different, you'll see that you are better. Not just better than people, but you have a better outlook on life and a better perspective on life. And if you think better, you'll become better. If you're in a humdrum job, energize your life by asking God to give you a great idea, to form a great business, to help a lot of people, to create a lot of change. I'll never work a day. I'll never work another day in my life. I'll never work. We hear that, but there's truth to that. I'll never work another day in my life because when you're following your purpose, it's not work. It's not a job. It's who I am. It's what I do. It's how I manifest my purpose by my deliverables and my assignments. I'm not working a job. You're not working a job if you're doing it for your divine purpose. Amen. Energize your life. The next one is endure. How do we become better people? It requires endurance. Endurance. Endure hardships as a good soldier. Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. It requires perseverance. I mean, why are you giving up now? I often say this is not the first time your mortgage has been 3 months late. I mean, you're talking about it now because everybody's talking about it. This is not the first time you've had to park your car at a friend's house for a few weeks. Why are you tripping now? That's the first time you got an F in class. That's the first time. This is not the first time you had to repeat a class. We all got a little spit in us. We all barely, doing what we do, believing that we'll do better. But we do it in isolation because no one wants to say, I messed up, I missed the mark. It's not the first time you ever got dumped by the person you loved or you thought you loved. Love yourself. Get over it. Move on. It's almost 7 billion people on the planet, and you crying and tripping off one joker. Like in college, they say you've been whipped. I won't say the rest. Y'all keep your mind on God. Endure. Endure. Here's another thing about being better. Don't let your debt stop you. Don't let it be a deterrent to your forward progress. Don't let your debt stop you. Debt is a distraction, but it's a distraction that we create. Most of us are not born into debt. Most of us don't have generational debt. We create this unsecured credit card debt. Got a Macy's card, Neiman Marcus card, name them. You need to cut them all up, clip them up. 27% interest, 27% interest rate. And so this debt puts this weight on us and gives us a lack of self-confidence because we're defining ourselves by the mistakes that we've made and our inability to pay our bills. You can't let your credit score define who you are. Your credit score is not always a representation of your character. It can be, but it's not always. You really can't judge the sum total. The character of a man or woman is really, you can't even judge the sum total until they live their entire life. You can't pick one event out of a person's life. I don't care what you've done, what sin you've committed. I can't take that event and hold that over your head for the rest of your life and say you have poor character. I don't care who does it. I don't care if the government does it. I don't care if the job system does it. Don't allow it to impact your future. You have to endure. So there's some steps that you have to make, some things that you have to correct. We have to correct these things in order to be better. The book has already told us. Now, we know how to be last. We just have to learn how to be first. It's our season. It's our time. We are positioned to be first. I mean, I don't care how you look at it. When a man of color progresses to the leader of the Western world, there were probably some people in here, some grandmothers and some mothers. They would tell their children, you could be anything. Son, you can be president one day. But in the back of their heads, they were like, you can't be president. But now that ceiling has been removed. You tell your daughters, you could be the first lady one day. Now there's a real black woman that's a first lady. And you know folks are hating on it so hard. Now, you know if she was a red bone up in there, they wouldn't have nothing to say. I'm going to leave that alone. But she a real black woman, ain't she? I'm keeping it real, Bishop. Because we define ourselves by other people's definitions. You can't do that. You can't strive to be European. You're not European. You won't even fit in those European jeans. Be you. That's not better. You are what's better. Whatever you are, be you. If you're European, be you. Don't be me. Be you. Everybody, better is when you realize that I am better just the way I am.